Honestly, guys, I'm kind of torn on this video. I really want to give this an honest review, but I also feel like I'm going to be a little bit overtly negative about this. Overly? I don't know. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this. As you know from the title of this video and of course the thumbnail, this is a build guide for, well, the Traveler. More specifically, the Hydro Traveler. And the reason why we're talking about it is because I normally don't talk about the Traveler. Usually the Traveler stuff is like, hey, here you go, it's fun, have fun with the kit. But honestly, Traveler, except for probably in Sumeru, was never truly like the meta. Traveler was there really to travel. You would use them for exploration, and to be quite honest with this, I feel the same way about Hydro Traveler, but that didn't stop me from building the Hydro Traveler as best as I could at the time, and I've never really truly built the Traveler from the ground up before. Sumeru came close, but I just got so fixated on like Kale and Tainari in the beginning that I just forgot the Traveler ever really existed except for the story. So today we're going to be talking about the Hydro Traveler and why, well, not really why, how you should build the Traveler, because why would you? I'm kidding. But anyways, I digress. We're here to talk about how to build your Hydro Traveler and to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what you will kind of need. Now, before we get into this, understand that this is going to be strictly just the build portion. I'm not going to tell you what you need to farm the Traveler because honestly, it's pretty simple, and throughout the story, when you start out the game, it's going to be basically teaching you how to build Traveler, or really getting the essential materials, but I digress. That's what we got. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Actually, one more time before we get into that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Genshin Impact video comes out. Guys, again, let me just reach over here and show you gamer subs. 10% off, gluten-free, keto-friendly energy drink. That's fantastic for you. Use code TYSTRA for 10%. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, as you can see, we have the Traveler right here, right meow. Now let's go ahead and start out by looking at the stats here. I focused merely on crit rate, crit damage, and giving a lot of energy recharge because I feel like the energy recharge is going to be one of her best stats. Unfortunately, I had to take a little bit of suffering for the crit rate, crit damage, but I don't think that's going to be too bad of a thing. Now, for this Traveler, and let's just start with the talents first. Let's start with the talents because everything else will make a little bit of sense of why I built it this way. Of course, as a one-handed sword user, not really too much going on there. What we really want to focus on is the skill and the burst. So, skill, the Aqua Crest Saber. Press it, it sends a torrent surge toward or forward that will deal hydro damage to opponents it comes into contact with. If you hold it while in aiming mode, it consecutively fires off dewdrops in the direction in which you are aiming, dealing hydro damage to opponents they hit. When the skill ends, it'll send a torrent surge forward that'll deal hydro damage to opponents it comes in contact with. Suffusion, I think is what the word is. When using the hold configuration of the skill, if the Traveler's HP is higher than 50%, the damage dealt by dewdrops will increase based on the Traveler's max HP, and the Traveler will lose a fixed amount of HP every second, which will in turn be the reason why we're using a certain weapon, as you saw just a little bit ago. Now the Fuma, at certain intervals after using Torrent Surge, this skill will unleash a Spirit Breath Thorn that pierces opponents, dealing Fuma aligned hydro damage. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the burst here, right? The burst, very simple, unleashes a slow-moving floating bubble that deals continuous hydro damage to nearby opponents. That is the shortest burst description I've heard in a long time. Now, first is such a passive right here, Spotless Waters. After the dewdrop fired by the hold mode of the Aqua Crest Saber hits an opponent, a source water droplet will be generated near the Traveler. If the Traveler picks it up, it'll restore 7% HP. One droplet can be created this way every second, and each use of Aqua Crest Saber, man, I can't talk today. Aqua Crest Saber can create 4 droplets at most. So when you're using the skill and you hold it down and you take HP loss, you can actually get that HP back, like 7% of it, up to what, 7 times 4? I can't math. I'm a Dragon Ball fan. Just kidding. 28%. Up to 28% of your HP will come back to you, which in turn is a good thing. You don't really entirely need a healer so long as you're paying attention to how you're moving with your Traveler. Now, the second Ascension passive, if HP has been consumed via Suffusion while using the hold mode Aqua Crest Saber, the Torrent Surge at the skill's end will deal bonus damage equal to 45% of the total HP the Traveler has consumed in this skill use via Suffusion. Note, the maximum damage bonus that can be gained this way is 5,000, so you're capped. This is partially why I don't like using the Traveler. Now, you get all the constellations for free. I'm not going to go over those, but they do help out in the sense, so it does help. But let's go ahead and talk about the weapon. I chose the Key of Kajna suit. Now, the reason why I did that is solely because of the HP. If you're going to be losing HP, and you're going to be gaining attack from losing your HP, you definitely want something to give you that little bit of a HP boost. So that's why I went with the Key of Kajna suit. I think honestly that's the best bet. However, there are plenty of other options that you could go with. You can go with the Freedom Sworn. I've seen people use it because of the Elemental Mastery, since you're going to be doing a lot of Hydro application. Same with Zyphos Moonlight, and of course another one that I like because of the energy recharge, and one I play tested with a little bit was Favonius Sword, because you're getting that energy recharge and you're also getting a little bit of crit. So that's fantastic. Now, as it stands, with artifacts, there are plenty of ways that you could go about it, and in all honesty, it's tough, man. It's very, very, very tough. If you're going for a DPS, you want to go for a 4-piece Hydro damage bonus, or a 2-piece Hydro, 2-piece 18% attack bonus. What I'm seeing here too is a lot of people have been using the 4-piece Noblesse like I've got right now, or a 4-piece Exile, which is very strange. I wouldn't use the Exile, but hey, it is what it is. But the main stats that you're going to be working with on Lumine here, or Aether if you're using Aether instead of Lumine. If you are, you're crazy. Main stats that you're going for, actually not HP bonus. You're going to be getting most of your HP from your weapon if you're using the Key of Kajna suit. But you can even do this with the 20,000 HP that you'll most likely get, because that's around average of what you're going to get with certain characters. Biggest things, crit rate, crit damage, but actually no, sorry. Energy recharge at the start, because you want to get your burst off as much as you can, followed by crit rate, crit damage, and then also attack percentage. You could even throw in Elemental Mastery because it works just as well. However, I gotta say, there are plenty of things in regards to what you're going to be using Lumine as. You could use her as a support, you could use her as a DPS, but the Hydro Traveler is just not that great, and I'm about to show you. Before we get into that, let's look over the team, right? So the team I've gone with is as follows: Lumine, a sub DPS of Raiden Shogun, Kazuha because he shreds with Raiden Shogun. It's definitely just because like every time I hit, even with the water droplets, that sword or that little lightning bolt gonna hit. And then Kokomi just in case I need those extra heals. Now, you can use other characters. Like I've seen people use Dia, which Dia has kind of gotten a resurgence in Fountaine, which is great. Still terrible, but it is what it is. I've seen people use Zhangling, I've seen people use Nahida. There's plenty of options. The Traveler is very, very good in regards to having options for the team. However, the Traveler is just not good. At least Hydro Traveler is not that good. And here I'm going to show you. We're going to show off the skill and the burst really quick, if I can get the burst. Now, that's going to be if I get it. Oh wait, hold on. As you guys can see, I have a white bar on my screen. My apologies. I don't know why it does that. Gosh, diggity dart it. I'm trying to do stuff, man. Mom, get out of my room. Alright. So, with the Hydro Traveler, right? We're gonna show this off with the Raiden Shogun right here. We're gonna let him do his thing. And then look. I shoot my gun. And see the dewdrops that are dropping from it? Does a decent amount of damage, to be honest. Especially in conjunction with Raiden Shogun. But it's not great. Now, I can throw in a little bit of this. Get that going. Reactivate that and then head back. Thankfully, even after all this and you're doing all this stuff, you can take a little bit of damage, you can tank it, and then get that going. And over time, it does really, really well. Now, we fire off this. You have to make sure that they stay still, because look. Now, what does that do? It does nothing but floats away like a little terrible thing, right? Wind strike. So ultimately, like as you can see, your Hydro Traveler is not going to be doing like this most amazing damage. Like, this is terrible. That's terrible. But we get our health back, so it's a constant like getting your health back. But as you can see, the amount of damage that we're producing is not that great. And I've tested this with a few other characters too. It's not the most amazing, but this little like rapid fire gun is pretty dope. I will say that. And being able to recover a majority of your health is pretty dope. We'll just get rid of that. That was a terrible Raiden Shogun burst, but yeah. Overall, I knew that this was going to be a short video because I gotta tell you guys, I don't think this is it. She looks cool. The being able to shoot off a minigun of water droplets is cool. I think that's dope. But in all honesty, the Traveler sucks. If you're going to build your Traveler, build the Dendro one. The Dendro one is so much better. And even right now with all the Hydro that we're getting, especially with, you know, Furina coming out here soon, and then, or actually, sorry, Novelette is coming out first, and then Furina's going to be coming out. You're going to want to kind of build a Traveler with, you know, the Dendro element that'll work if you truly want to use a Traveler. Now, what would I rank this Traveler out of all 4 typings? Honestly, I would put her in 3rd, to be honest. I honestly dislike the Geo Traveler. I know people are probably going to think I'm blasphemous, but I think the Animo Traveler is one of the better ones. And then Dendro is just the best one, but I digress. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about how good she is. She's not that good. I would say, honestly, skip building her. Don't worry about building her. Build the characters that you summon for. Traveler is just there as a, or at least this Traveler is just a placeholder at this point. Now, of course, y'all, if you don't agree with me, or even if you just like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and comment about what you thought about today's video. Honestly, this is the first time I've actually been relatively disappointed with a character in a long time since Dia, to be quite honest. So I'm kind of disappointed on how the Hydro Traveler turned out. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Love you all to death. And as always, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Please take care and be safe, y'all.